All right, let's dive deep into some Hindu cosmology today.
Sounds good.
We're going to be looking at the Vishnu Purana.
Awesome.
This text is just jam-packed with incredible stories and knowledge about the universe.
Right. And I think one of the things that's so cool is how they use such vivid imagery and specific details to really bring these concepts to life.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's not just this abstract philosophy. It's like they're painting a picture.
Totally. Like we're about to encounter a chariot
Okay.
that spans millions of miles
Oh.
and a sacred river that flows from the foot of a deity.
All right, I am so ready for this.
Let's jump right in with that chariot.
Okay.
It belongs to Surya, the sun god, and they actually give us like precise measurements for this thing.
Okay, I love it when they get specific, so give me the details.
Okay, so picture this.
Okay.
A chariot 9,000 yohanas wide.
9,000 yohanas. Remind me what a yohana is again.
A yohana is an ancient Indian unit of distance.
Okay.
So think several miles.
Wow, so this thing is already enormous.
Oh, it gets even bigger. The axle of the chariot stretches over 15,700 yohanas.
That's like almost impossible to even imagine.
It's mind-boggling.
It really is. So, but it's a chariot, right?
Right.
So, like, what's the significance of all this?
Yeah.
It's like, is it just about the size, or is there a deeper meaning here?
There's definitely a deeper meaning.
Okay.
Each part of the chariot represents a cosmic element.
Okay.
So, for example, the wheel that symbolizes the cycle of time.
Okay.
The horses, they're Vedic meters.
Interesting.
And the axle that connects to Mount Meru, the cosmic axis.
So it's like this chariot is like a microcosm of the universe.
Exactly. It's not just a mode of transportation.
Right.
It's like a blueprint of creation.
Wow.
And the chariot's path and its speed.
Okay.
That's important too, because that movement
Yeah.
is what creates day and night.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so speaking of Mount Meru,
Yes,
it sounds like it's more than just a geographical feature here.
absolutely.
Like, what exactly is Mount Meru in this context?
Mount Meru is the cosmic mountain. It's the center of the universe in Hindu cosmology,
Got it.
and it represents cosmic order and stability.
Okay. And there are these 4 cities on Mount Meru, each ruled by a different deity.
Right.
So what's the significance of that?
So you have Vasavakasara, Samyamani, Sukha, and Viphavari,
Okay.
positioned at the cardinal directions,
Okay.
ruled by Indra, Yama, Varuna, and Chandra, the moon god, respectively.
So these cities and these deities represent different forces of nature
Yes.
and like principles of cosmic governance.
Exactly.
It's like this whole power center on this mountain.
Yes, and everything revolves around this central point,
Okay.
including the sun.
Okay.
But the concept of sunrise and sunset in the Vishnu Purana,
Yeah.
it's not as simple as it seems.
Right, because we know that the sun doesn't actually rise and set.
Exactly.
So how do they explain it in the Vishnu Purana?
They understood that it's our perception of the sun's movement as it travels across the sky that creates the illusion of sunrise and sunset in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Experience day and night at different times.
Yeah.
Because of the sun's journey.
So even though they didn't have our modern understanding of astronomy,
Right.
they still grasped like the basic concept
They did.
of the Earth's rotation and its relationship to the sun.
Yes.
That's really impressive.
Now here's something else that's interesting.
Okay.
Even though the sun's chariot travels everywhere, its rays never reached Brahma's assembly on top of Mount Meru.
Why is that?
It's not that something's blocking the light.
Right.
The Vishnu Purana says that Mount Meru,
Yeah.
being the cosmic center, is so incredibly brilliant
Okay.
that it actually repels the sun's rays.
Oh, wow.
Imagine a light so bright
Yeah.
that it pushes away other light.
This is one powerful mountain.
It is, and you know what this creates?
What?
Perpetual day on one side of Mount Meru
Oh, wow.
and perpetual night on the other.
So you have like 2 completely different worlds existing on the same mountain.
Yes.
Okay, so this is where I think things get really interesting.
Say-
They talk about this exchange of brilliance between the sun and fire.
Right.
Can you unpack that for us a little bit?
Yeah, so at night,
Yeah.
the sun's energy merges with fire,
Okay.
and that's why fire seems to glow brighter at night.
Okay.
And then during the day, fire's energy returns to the sun, making it blaze more fiercely.
Oh, wow.
It's this cyclical relationship where they're sharing their brilliance.
I love that imagery.
It's like a cosmic dance.
It is, and it kind of connects to their description of day and night entering the waters.
Yep.
Where day makes the water appear white and night gives it like a coppery hue.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
almost like these cosmic forces are painting the world with their colors.
I love that.
It makes the universe feel more tangible and relatable.
It does. Okay, so we've got this incredible cosmic ballet happening here.
Yes.
The chariot, the mountain, the sun, and fire exchanging energy. But how did they measure time within all of this?
Right.
Because they had a different system
They did.
than our modern hours and minutes.
Yeah. They used a unit called a muhurta.
A muhurta.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was directly linked to the sun's movement across the sky.
So how did they define a muhurta?
Okay, so think of it this way.
Okay.
When the sun travels 1/30th of its daily journey across the sky,
Okay.
that duration is one muhurta.
Okay, so their timekeeping was tied to
It was
like the celestial movements they observed.
yeah, intricately tied.
That's so different from our way of thinking about time.
It
It's
is,
fascinating.
but it speaks to their deep understanding of the cosmos
Yeah.
and their efforts to align their lives with its rhythms.
Right, and speaking of celestial movements,
Yes,
the Vishnu Purana also addresses the solstices and equinoxes.
it does.
But they have different terms for them, right?
They refer to them as Uttarayana,
Rituraya.
the northern solstice,
Okay.
and Dakshinayana, the southern solstice.
Dakshinayana, got it.
And these points are linked to the sun's movement through the zodiac signs.
Okay.
And just like in modern astronomy, the length of day and night changes
Right.
based on the sun's position.
Exactly. So did they have a way of explaining that?
The text even mentions specific zodiac signs
Oh, wow.
to mark these changes.
Okay.
So, for example, when the sun is in the sign of Cancer,
Okay.
it marks the beginning of Dakshinayana,
Okay.
and the days start getting shorter.
So it's amazing how these ancient observations align with what we know today
They do.
about the Earth's tilt and its orbit around the sun.
It's incredible.
It's starting to feel like this giant, intricate clockwork
Yeah.
with the sun as like the central gear,
Right.
setting the pace for everything else. But I have a feeling it's even more complex than that.
You're right.
Okay.
The Vishnu Purana uses the analogy of a potter's wheel
Oh, okay.
to explain the sun's varying speed.
Wait, varying speed?
Yeah.
So the sun doesn't move at a constant pace.
That's right.
Okay, so how does the potter's wheel analogy work?
So just like a point on a potter's wheel moves faster the further it is from the center.
Okay.
The sun's apparent speed varies
Yeah.
depending on its position
Okay.
in relation to the solstices.
So the sun's journey is more like a dance
Yeah, it is.
with its own rhythm and
Yeah.
variations in speed.
Exactly.
This is getting more and more fascinating.
We're just getting started.
I'm ready for more, but before we move on,
Okay.
let's just recap what we've covered so far.
Right.
Okay, so we explored Surya's massive chariot,
Yes.
learned about Mount Meru as the cosmic axis with its celestial cities, dove into the concept of timekeeping through muhurtas,
Right.
and this cyclical dance of day and night.
Yes.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But I think what's really key here is that the Vishnu Purana doesn't present a static picture of the universe.
No, it doesn't.
It's describing a very dynamic, interconnected system
Right.
where every element has a role to play.
Exactly.
And I have a feeling
Yeah.
this cosmic journey is about to get even more fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, you have no idea. Now let's talk about Ushas, Viwai, and Sandhya.
Okay, those sound pretty mystical. What are those?
So they represent these transitions between light and darkness.
Okay.
Ushas is dawn,
Okay.
Viwai is daybreak,
Mm-hmm.
and Sandhya is twilight.
Those transitions between light and dark always feel so powerful,
Right.
like even just in everyday life.
Totally.
So what role do they play in Hindu cosmology?
They're seen as highly charged moments,
Okay.
both spiritually and ritually.
Okay.
In Hindu tradition, these times are when the veil between the physical and spiritual realms is said to be thin.
So it's like a time for connecting with something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. And speaking of transitions,
Okay.
there's a particularly dramatic story about what happens during Sandhya twilight.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me about it.
So the Vishnu Purana tells of these terrifying demons
Okay.
called the Mandehas,
Mandehas.
who try to devour the sun during twilight.
Whoa, that's intense, but the sun doesn't actually get eaten, right?
No, don't worry.
Okay, good.
The text explains that rituals,
Okay.
particularly those involving chanting the sacred syllable Om
Okay.
and the Gayatri mantra,
Mm-hmm.
are said to protect the sun from these demons.
This idea of sound as like a force capable of repelling demons, that's fascinating.
It is, right, and it connects to this broader concept of the power of mantras.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty powerful way to visualize that struggle between light and darkness.
Yes, both in the cosmos and within ourselves.
It's like those rituals, they're about more than just like warding off demons, right?
Right, it's symbolic.
Yeah.
It's about the triumph of light over darkness, order over chaos.
So we're seeing how these stories aren't just explaining the physical world.
No, they're not.
They're also reflecting deeper truths about morality and spirituality.
Yeah, the Vishnu Purana is really blending cosmology, mythology, and ethics together to offer this holistic worldview.
Okay, so the journey continues.
It does.
Where are we going next?
We are going to encounter two paths.
Two paths. Okay, I am intrigued. Lay it on me.
So in the Vishnu Purana, there are two distinct paths that souls can travel after death. The Pitayana, also known as the southern path, and the Devayana, the northern path.
So this is like the soul's afterlife journey.
Yes.
So what determines which path a person takes?
Think of it this way. The Pitayana, the southern path, is for those who've lived a life focused on material pursuits and worldly desires. It's the path of the ancestors. Where souls go through a cycle of rebirth.
So it's not like a bad path. It's just like a different kind of journey based on how you live your life.
It's part of the cycle of existence.
And then the Devayana, the northern path.
Yes. That's reserved for those who have achieved spiritual liberation. Through righteous living knowledge and detachment from worldly attachments. This path leads to the realm of the gods and ultimately to liberation from the cycle of birth and death.
Okay, so you have these two different trajectories for the soul based on how you lived your life, but are we talking about like physical locations here?
Not quite.
Okay.
It's important to understand these paths aren't meant to be interpreted literally. They're symbolic representations.
Got it.
Different spiritual journeys.
Got it.
Metaphors for the soul's evolution.
So it's more about like the direction that your consciousness takes?
Yes.
The choices that you make and the karmic consequences.
Exactly. It's a powerful way to think about the impact of our actions and the potential for spiritual growth.
Okay, so the Vishnu Purana mentions a group called the revered rishis.
Yes.
Who are they?
They're a group of 80,000 sages who have achieved immortality.
Immortality, wow.
Yes.
But we're talking about immortality in like the Hindu philosophical sense, right?
Yes.
Not necessarily eternal life in a physical body.
Right. In Hindu philosophy, immortality refers to transcending the cycle of birth and death. It's about liberating the soul from the limitations of the material world.
So it's less about living forever in a physical sense and more about reaching a state of spiritual liberation.
Precisely. It's about achieving a state of pure consciousness. Unburdened by time and form.
So this raises an interesting question for me. Where do these liberated souls end up? Is there a final destination?
According to the Vishnu Purana, there is a third realm. The realm of Vishnu. Located beyond the pole star. That's considered the ultimate destination for those who have achieved liberation.
So the ultimate goal is a state of being.
Yes.
Not a physical place.
Correct.
Which is interesting because it contrasts to how we often think about heaven and hell as like having a location.
Right.
Okay, so speaking of journeys, the Ganges River seems to represent a different kind of path.
Yeah, it does.
What makes this river so sacred in Hindu belief?
The Ganges is considered the most sacred river in Hinduism. Its origin story is quite remarkable.
Okay, tell me.
It's said to flow from the foot of Vishnu himself.
From the foot of Vishnu, wow, that's quite the image.
It is, so it's held on Dhruva's head, the pole star.
Right.
And then it flows through the moon's orbit onto Mount Meru.
Wow.
And finally divides into 4 streams that flow in the cardinal directions.
So it's literally like a river connecting the heavens to the earth.
Yes.
No wonder it's so revered.
And those 4 streams represent the 4 directions. Symbolizing the river's life-giving force spreading throughout the world, nourishing the entire cosmos.
And then its water is believed to have the power to cleanse sins and grant liberation.
Yes, the Ganges is so much more than just a physical river in Hindu belief.
Absolutely. It's like this potent symbol interwoven with all these ideas of purity and divine grace and spiritual awakening.
Exactly.
Every element in the Vishnu Purana just seems so multi-layered.
It is.
Just full of symbolism and deeper meaning.
It's not just a description of the universe. It's an invitation to see the interconnectedness of everything.
Yes.
From the grand celestial movements.
Yeah.
To the rituals we practice in our daily lives.
It's definitely a different way of looking at the world.
It is.
And I'm finding it both fascinating and inspiring.
Yeah, it really makes you appreciate just how much thought and observation went into creating these ancient cosmological models.
It really is a testament to the human desire to understand our place in the universe, to find meaning and connection in all this vastness.
All right, so before we get completely lost in the cosmic ocean,
Okay.
let's do a quick recap of this incredible journey.
All right.
So we started with Surya's grand chariot,
Yes.
learned about Mount Meru as the cosmic axis and those celestial cities.
All right.
And then we explored that cyclical dance of day and night, and even dove into the concept of timekeeping through muhurtas.
Yes, and we can't forget the two paths, Pitayana and Devayana, representing those different post-death journeys.
Right, and we encountered those Urdhvaretas rishis who achieved immortality through their asceticism.
Well, and we learned about the realm of Vishnu as like the ultimate destination.
The ultimate destination.
For liberated souls.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the Ganges River.
Yes.
It's amazing how a river can hold such profound spiritual significance.
I know, it's a beautiful reminder that the sacred can be found in the seemingly ordinary.
Absolutely.
Even in the flowing waters of a river.
This whole deep dive has been just one aha moment after another.
I know, right?
The way that the Vishnu Purana weaves together mythology and astronomy and spirituality, it's just incredible to me.
It's not just about the individual elements, though.
Right.
It's how they all fit together.
Yeah.
How they interact and influence each other to create this harmonious whole.
I'm left with this sense of awe and wonder, but also like a feeling of connection to something much larger than myself.
That's the beauty of exploring these ancient cosmological models.
Yeah.
They offer a different lens.
They do.
To view the world through.
Yeah.
And they invite us to see that interconnectedness. And find our place within that grand tapestry.
Okay, so as we wrap up this cosmic adventure, I want to leave you with a final thought.
Okay.
We talked about Dhruva, the pole star, as the anchor for the Ganges River.
Right.
But Dhruva is also the symbol of stability amidst all that constant movement of time and the cosmos.
Such a powerful image.
It is.
That fixed point in the ever-changing celestial dance.
It really is, and it makes me wonder, what represents that point of stability in your own life?
That's a great question.
Like, what is your guiding star that helps you navigate the complexities of existence?
Something to reflect on.
It is, as we step back from this cosmic journey and back into our everyday lives.
It is a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
And as you do, remember the lessons from the Vishnu Purana.
Okay.
Embrace the interconnectedness of everything. Seek knowledge and wisdom. And strive to live a life aligned with your highest values.
Beautifully said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Vishnu Purana.
My pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
Yes.
And keep seeking the extraordinary within the ordinary.